So this is the prototype of the Darkroom box. I built a small model first, hopefully that I don't run into too many design problems then. Once I designed the box, building it was fairly straightforward, apart from the fact that photography and dust don't mix, whether it's in the workshop and it's the camera you're filming with, or later on and you're developing and printing. Photography and dust do not mix. I think one of the trickiest things probably was cutting out the apertures for where I was going to put my hands inside. I'd got to keep that pretty tight to the line. Using basic materials I'd got, I used orange perspex to start off with. Having built the box, I needed to get in it, so I came up with the idea using these old jumper sleeves and old sweatshirt sleeves and fits them in. And I think the hardest part was actually cutting out perfect circles and then screwing and fixing them in to hold the material in place, but it works quite well. I'd used the LED strips as safe light before, but I wasn't too sure, being so close to the paper, whether it would fog it. I did some time tests and it was perfectly okay. Because I've got red filters everywhere, there's a possibility that I could have this light strip switched on to a different colour. It will still indicate red on the outside, but although it could be green, purple on the inside. So to alleviate that problem, I've come up with a simple idea. I found this little plug, and that's going to help me to indicate what colour the strip light's on. So at the end of my LED strip, one of these lights just fits over the plug, and if I put a cap on that, that should hold that in place, and hopefully when I change the lights I'll be able to see on the outside. Now this would actually fog my paper, but I now switch it on to red, and there is a minor difference you might be able to see. So at least now I know it's definitely red, and I won't have that problem of not being sure. I've decided to replace the toggles on the back because I want to put a hinge on it instead, because taking it on and off is a bit of a bind. So just lining them up and then putting a few screws in. Although I do like these toggles, I just found them on the internet and I thought they looked adjustable, which is what they are at the end of the day, fully adjustable. So that was absolutely brilliant. I'll show you what I mean. I don't know if you can see that. Is it sharp enough? They adjust so that you can tighten it in, slacken it off. They're quite tight. The thing is, if you haven't got your measurements exactly right, that'll either pull up and become tighter or slacken off and become looser. So they're really practical and they work quite well. The problem changing things sometimes at the last minute is, yes, I'm going to put a hinge on here, but I can't screw it to anything on this other side. So what I'm going to have to do is use nut and bolts, so that the nuts don't protrude out, otherwise I shan't be able to shut the hinge. I'm going to have to either chisel away a little bit round each hole. So what I've done is drilled straight through. I've got a marker. Now if I go through there, that's going to give me a nice little round hole and my nut will fit flush. So the largest I can put in here is 5x7 trays, but if I put a series of 5x7 trays in there, I've got no room for anything else. So I couldn't stand some prints that need to develop. I couldn't have extra chemistry in there. So I came up with the idea of putting another shelf in. So if I just pop that shelf, and it'll give you an idea. There you go. The reason I've made it out of perspex is because I can still see through it and I can store stuff in there. I've got about probably another 25% surface area on there to keep whatever I need to keep inside the box. So allow me to be independent from electricity. I use this little power source, and that I've fixed a little pocket on the side here, so when that's plugged in, that will actually fit in on the side there, quite easy. and if I need to plug anything else in, there's another socket there so that I can use it. Just when you think you've finished, I've put these chains on here. They're to act as support when I open the back up, but when I went to shut it, I couldn't shut it because the chains themselves were bulking up against the bottom of the shelf. So a design flaw, that's what we'll call it. Not a mistake, a design flaw. But I got round it by cutting a little groove in here, and that allowed the chain then to sort of have somewhere to go, and then I could shut my back up. So the box inside, there's plenty of room with me putting the second shelf in here. I've got 3 cassettes here, so that means there's 6 prints there to develop, and I've still got a little bit of room on the dryer area, and then underneath I've got quite a bit of room on the bottom for my processing trays. When you've built something about this size, the problem is storing it. So I thought, well, I'll just stand it on its side. Having made these, put these units on, nice and secure, it wobbled all over the place. So I had to come up with a design of fixing these studs, nuts and washers onto all the sections. And remember, this is not a square box, so it actually has got 5. But that now sits on the floor okay. Now that I've finished the box, what I want to do is take it out and probably experiment with pinhole camera, do some developing and printing, and probably play around with positive paper printing so that you can see the results straight away. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Give us a tick if you liked it. It always looks good when the numbers go up. Right, see you soon.